Uh-oh.
No, we're good. We're good. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. This is Pam with Perfectly Holistic and my co-host, beautiful Deanna Sang. And we are back tonight with our we're wrapping up our series on paradigms, pet parents, and pets. So before we get started and people are hopping on, let us know where you're watching from. Drop a comment over here so we can say hello. And for those of you who are watching live on Instagram, just know that we are streaming on a particular platform and we can stream there, but we can't see your comments. So if you want to actually make a comment during the show, either come on over to our Perfectly Holistic YouTube channel or hop over onto our Perfectly Holistic Facebook page where we are streaming, and you can send us comments and ask us questions during the show and all of that good stuff. So, um, yeah. So, Deanna, how are you? How's your week?
I'm good. I feel lighter, um, which is weird in San Francisco.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of stuff is accelerated, or just things are moving faster, or time is going by faster and just flying. I don't
Yes.
know what that's about.
It's an
Maybe.
energy shift. There's an energy shift happening in the world. And it's like this positive energy swooping in and ushering in this element of change and truth. It's it's a good energy. It's almost like cleansing and getting
Yeah.
out some of the bad and some of the old. And um, yeah, so I think we're going to see more and more of that as we come into the next few months for sure. So,
Good.
yeah. So, one of the things I wanted to start with, if you guys have never seen this Paradigms show before, I wanted to go back and revisit or recap just what is a paradigm so that we can create the framework for you to follow along and understand where we're going. So, a paradigm is as it is, let me make sure I get this exactly right because I'm going to read you the definition. It is a mental program that has almost exclusive control over our habitual behavior, and almost all of our behavior is habitual. So, a mental program that has almost exclusive behavior over all of our habitual behaviors, exclusive control, sorry, and almost all of our behavior is habitual. So, when you frame it in the light of that, you can look back and see from your childhood how you did things, belief systems that you have formed that probably you didn't form. They were formed for you by the environment you lived in, who you grew up around, genetics that was passed down to you from family and things like that. It's your set of belief systems. It's why you do things a certain way. To the most basic things like why you cook a certain way, why you get dressed a certain way, um, how you speak, how you act, what you buy. And in the pet space, it's how you raise your pets. And when you are able to look back and recognize like all the ways we're used to doing things, they're systems, they're like habits, right? It's just, oh, I've always done that, or I do it because I saw my parents do it that way, so I thought that's what it was supposed to be done. So that's kind of where we're coming from when we wrap up this topic of paradigms. And what we wanted to focus on tonight specifically is helping you guys get out of your own way. So I think a lot of people, they listen to the shows that we've done on this and they're thinking, oh, this is really good information. I'm learning so much. But then they kind of hit roadblocks or, stumbling blocks and they're just like, and I can't move forward. So we're here tonight to help you get out of your own way. So if you have questions, feel free to drop them into the comments on Facebook or YouTube, and we'll go through those as we go through the show tonight. So, Deanna, where do you want to start?
First, I just wanted to say that I can't see the chat. I don't know why it's
Okay,
like,
on the right-hand side of your screen, it will say comments, banners, private chat.
yeah, it's weird. Like I can see that, but then it's like I can't expand my window far enough to get to it, which I don't know
Well,
why.
okay. That's weird.
Yeah, I didn't have this problem before, so I just want to let you know because I won't be able to see them.
Okay, okay. Well, I can read the comments and the questions as they come through, so that I've got you covered.
Okay,
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for letting. I don't know why that is.
that's okay.
Technology. It's just great. It's great. Okay. So yeah, I'll let you start. So where do we want to start? Or do you guys have any specific questions? Like, where do you find yourself getting stuck? Like, where do you find your roadblocks? Um, drop some ideas or some actual, things that you guys are struggling with in terms of what's getting in your way. Let's put it like that, and then we'll try to help you get out of your own way. So this is all about. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of my clients who have fur babies, they are struggling with what the veterinarian is telling them versus um, maybe alternative medicine or something, because one of
Mhm.
the paradigms that we've formed, in this society is that veterinarians and doctors and physicians know best and do whatever they say and take whatever prescription medication they tell you to take.
Mhm.
And while they do have our best interest at heart and they are here to help us and help us heal, um, they are trained a certain way that's very antiquated and outdated. And it's like the new things are have been discovered and have proven to work, um, when maybe veterinarians or physicians can't help people or animals, at some point. Or there are just better ways, because all of you probably know that a lot of the drugs and medication, that they prescribe, they all cause side effects. And
Mhm.
so if they tell you your fur baby is going to have to be on this these this medication for the rest of their life, um, that's just a paradigm that we need to like shift, or a
Okay.
belief that what they're telling us is right and the only way out, or the only thing that we can do.
Right.
So I don't know, that's just a big one. Or like chemotherapy, you know an animal gets cancer and they do chemotherapy and radiation
Yeah.
and immuno whatever it's called, immunoglobulin shots.
Immunotherapy, those kinds of things.
Yes.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so it's just it it just breaks my heart because I see what these drugs and the chemotherapy or the radiation do to the animals. And even though animals may not show their pain, a lot of animals don't show their pain. 'Cause instinctually, they hide it because they don't want to look vulnerable, right?
Right.
So they're not like people where, we feel pain or we're in agony and we like let it out and we can't hide it on our face or verbally. We just, we tell the doctor or whoever.
Right.
But with animals, like people seem to think, here's another paradigm. People, because it's on the internet everywhere, people seem to think that the animals aren't as affected by chemotherapy and radiation like humans are. But it's only, I think, because they're not showing it, that they're like hiding it.
Mhm.
That inside, it does the same thing to them as it does to us, and they are more sensitive than human beings because they have more clear senses and they vibrate higher at, the higher energetic frequency level. So I feel like they feel so much more than we do. Um, and then I don't know, then people keep going through the chemotherapy thinking, oh, my dog or my cat is fine, but really their insides are being fried because the good cells are being killed with the bad cells and destroying their organs and their tissue and their liver and their kidneys and all the other organs. But
Yeah.
anyways, this is just, it's been a lot. I get clients in waves a lot.
Yes.
So
Yes.
this is kind of top of mind for me because a lot of my clients do have cancer, or they're trying to, something else that bothers me is when the cancer is gone, some of my clients are still opting into more, what do you call them, clinical trials, which is basically more radiation, more different types of
Yeah.
toxic stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, why are you doing that when your doctor said the cancer is gone?
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, sorry.
No, those are great. Those are great examples. And I think people do get stuck in that, well, they're the vet, so they must know what they're talking about. And, I tell people all the time, listen to your vet, but listen to your vet, but follow your heart. So if your heart is telling you like, oh, I don't know, I don't really feel good about that, and I just don't know what I should do, then that hesitancy is put there for a reason, for you to take a step back and really evaluate where you feel intuitively that you are really being led to go. If you don't feel comfortable about something that somebody is recommending or suggesting or pressuring you to do, then that's a sign that you got to step back and go, whoa, 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 and just tell them, I'm not going to make a decision today. I'm going to go home and I'm going to pray about this. I'm going to meditate on this. I'm going to go get a second opinion. I'm going to go do some research on what you're suggesting, and then I will make a decision. So I don't feel that we step back and really think things through sometimes, right? It's just, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, if I don't do this now, they're going to die. And chances are, if especially in the area of the chemo and the radiation and things like that, I would just kindly ask your vet, what is your success rate with that treatment? What is your success rate? How many pets have overcome and lived a long, healthy life after doing that? And
Yes.
say, and if they can give you an honest answer and say, I've had 90% of my clients get through this and they lived another 10 years or 5 years and they were healthy, then, that's something that you can think about. But if their success rate is like 0 and we're just sustaining life for a few months, then I don't know if you would make the same decision, right? So,
Yeah. And I understand because I think people make decisions out of fear, and veterinarians and physicians unintentionally, they don't do it on purpose, but they do instill a lot of fear in us because when we hear the word cancer, obviously our reaction is to freak out
mhm,
and to be scared. And so I understand wanting to do something, for a
yeah,
loved one or for a baby, but there are alternatives. Um, there's so many things that actually need to change because every disease, including cancer, any physical issue that we have, illness, chronic condition, physical pain,
mhm,
they're basically all messages that almost like our higher self is trying to send to us through our bodies, because most of us can't, we're not, most of us aren't clairaudient. So we don't hear voices. We can't hear the, higher ups talking to us, or angels or spirit guides.
right.
And so one of the main ways that they communicate to us is through our bodies. And so cancer is basically the last ditch
Little
effort. Yeah, it's like,
message.
yeah, it's like they may have tried to send us messages for
Uh,
years and years and years.
mhm, mhm.
But of course, most people don't maybe don't even believe in
Right. Or they're
higher
not
up.
aware. They're just not aware. They're
Yeah,
oblivious the message, that's trying to.
Yes, yes, and so people won't recognize messages, they can't identify them or see them, or they're not looking for them or know what to look for. But I've learned over time, like probably all of you, and definitely Pam, we see messages and signs like all the time, and I get them all the time through my body. And so cancer is basically their last message that they can send to you,
Mhm.
because it's the only way for them to get your attention,
Yep.
basically. And we have to be forced to make changes because most humans don't like change.
Mhm.
They like, they want to maintain safety and predictability.
Mhm.
It's just human nature. Like I'm like that too, but um, but most of us have to be forced to make changes in our lives to go
Mhm.
in the right direction. And so when people get cancer, what do? They change their diet. They start eating healthy. They cut out meat. They cut out dairy. They cut out sugar. Do all this healthy stuff physically. Then they start, I think the hardest part probably for them, and I don't know if they do this, but I help my clients with it. You have to change your mindset, your emotions, what you're focused on. Because if you're focused on, your fur baby or you dying and cancer and worry and, anxiety or whatever negative emotions it invokes,
Mhm.
that's just going to manifest more.
Of that energy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so it takes a lot so people have to start changing everything, their thoughts, their beliefs, their expectations, their
Mhm.
assumptions, raise their energy level, start filling up their own cup again,
Yeah.
finding joy in life, thinking
Mhm.
positively. And I feel like it's all about like manifesting, right? Which is kind of
Yeah.
woo woo to some people. But if you know how to manifest, you can start, changing things and going down a different path and
Right.
reversing everything. But
Yeah.
that's
Mhm.
possible with your fur baby, like with cats or any animal, because I think you can interrupt me anytime. Sorry.
No, you good. Keep going.
um, I feel like animals, like I said, they're so sensitive to energy, and I think, experience everything with us because they're telepathic. So they know everything that we're thinking. Even if we're not talking out loud, they
Mhm.
can feel our emotions. So they go through all of our emotions with us through breakups, through career changes, or layoffs, or getting fired, or fights with loved ones or whoever. And then um, it's not our fault, right? Like, I'm not saying we're just all trying to get through life the best way we can.
Mhm.
And we have to learn how to deal, I think, with our emotions better and understand why we feel them. And then maybe make some changes in the way we perceive things,
Yeah.
and maybe find some good in the negative events or situations or
Mhm.
experiences, and also maybe practice gratitude at the same time. And it's all this stuff kind of doesn't make sense because it's like, how can I practice gratitude and find something good when I just got fired, or someone just passed away, or I got raped, or someone got killed, or all this stuff.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so it's like, it's okay to feel all those negative emotions, but at some point you have to kind of take the reins back.
Yeah.
And it's like, how long are you gonna not wallow?
But it is wallowing. It's holding on to
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Or how long are you gonna be the victim? And
Yeah.
it's okay to be, feel victimized for a while, because maybe, things aren't fair and things
Mhm.
are might seem evil or whatever. But at some point you've got to reverse it,
Yeah. It's about letting it
right?
process, but then move on. Don't get stuck in it because that's where things go off the rails. You know?
Yes. And I feel like the easiest way for me to reverse things is to find something good in it, because then you can really release it. Like if you just say, okay, release it and let it go, you really haven't, because you still feel the same emotions about it.
Yeah.
But if you can find something good in whatever,
A silver lining.
yes.
Silver lining.
And it sounds so cliche, but it's true.
Mm-hmm.
And then practice a little gratitude about the thing that happened as well. And so if you could find the silver lining and the, positive things, and be grateful maybe that it wasn't worse, or grateful that, I'd have to know a specific situation, but you get the idea. And
Yeah.
then it's easier to be like, okay, I can let that go because some good came out of it.
Yeah.
Or, right?
Yes, and sometimes we have to let go in order to have good come. Because it's like the analogy, if you stand there with your hands, your fists closed, you're not open to receive. So we have to release and let go of things and open our hands in order to be given whatever the, God or universe, great spirit wants to send us to replace that, But if we're just holding on to the old stuff all the time, we're not going to be open to receive what could be coming our way that's even better that we're not aware of. So
Yes, I think that's why they say live in the present
yeah.
moment. Don't live in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the present moment, maybe think, everything is okay, you're healthy, or you're alive, or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, my mind keeps going to manifesting.
Well, that was one of the things that I was going to, we talked about prior to the show. We both kind of came here tonight with a list of ideas to help you get unstuck and get out of your own way. And gratitude was one of those biggies because it is an energy shift. I mean, emotions and thoughts are at the very foundational level. It's all about energy and frequency. So if we can shift how we're viewing something or thinking about something and just focus on gratitude, it doesn't have to be about that same situation, but what can you be grateful for, and start making a list, like at night before you go to bed, instead of counting sheep, count your gratitude, to your daily blessings. Like, I'm so blessed because I'm so grateful for, and start naming things off, and you will be amazed at how many things that you can come up with to be grateful for. And you'll notice that your whole energy, mood, whatever, totally shifts by the time you're done with that exercise. If you're really being sincere and really thinking it through, it's pretty incredible.
I have a recommendation. I might have mentioned it on one of your other shows, but when you're triggered, let's say something just pisses you off, or you're so angry or so frustrated at, maybe it's maybe you're on the freeway, or maybe my old neighbors, I should say, used to blast their music or throw these raging parties or whatever. And I used to get so angry because I lived in a one-story house growing up, and I never had noise above me, and I didn't have siblings, so I didn't have to tune any, brothers or sisters out in the other room, or listening to their music or the TV or whatever. So I think that's why it triggers me so much. But in the moment when you are angry, start finding things to be grateful for regarding the thing that's triggering you. So, like, for example, hearing my neighbors maybe late at night, I would start saying, I'm grateful I have ears, and I'm grateful for my hearing, because someone who's deaf would love to hear that music right now. I mean, it would be a miracle, right?
Yes.
So I'm grateful for my hearing. I'm grateful I have a roof over my head. I'm grateful the walls are thick. It could be worse because other places in San Francisco have very thin walls. I'm grateful my neighbors are, usually quiet, and they usually don't throw a lot of parties. And I'm grateful. So anyways, just think of, and if you're in traffic or someone cuts you off or you have road rage, start saying, I'm grateful I have a car, because a lot of people don't have a car. I'm grateful I have gas. I'm grateful I can get from point A to point B. I'm grateful we're going 20 miles an hour on the freeway, because it could be worse. It could be standstill, bumper to bumper. I'm grateful it's not raining, because no one knows how to drive in the rain, and so it could be a lot worse. And start saying, thinking of more things. Like, I'm grateful I'm not in a hurry, so everything's fine. And then what happens, so what I noticed is the thing that's pissing me off goes away within like minutes. It could be seconds, like 40 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes. But when I do this, maybe the person who's, in the fast lane blocking everyone and going 50 miles an hour in the fast lane, all of a sudden I remember he got over after probably like 45 seconds of saying this. Oh, and say it out loud. All the things you're grateful for, say it out loud. And he got over and let us all go. And then my neighbor who had the party, I was saying everything I was grateful for. And then all of a sudden it stopped. I didn't hear the music. I didn't hear people talking or laughing. I didn't hear anyone dropping stuff on the floor. And I know they were still in there because the front door didn't open. And so I think the universe or our higher self or whoever, it's almost like I think they reward us. They're like, oh, look, she's trying to she's making changes to her perspective, or, going down a different path, or finding gratitude and all that stuff. And then they take it away for us. But I would try it if that happens to you. Anything that triggers you in the moment, right then and there, start doing this, and it should help.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is awesome. We kind of touched a little bit on it earlier, but one of the things that I was going to suggest for people to help get out of your own way is not to let fear stop you. People get paralyzed by fear. And fear is basically just not having enough information. You're unaware of something. It's, being afraid of the unknown in some cases. You're not able to trust that whatever might be around the corner isn't going to harm you, or, whether it's a situation or whatever. But I don't know how many of you guys have heard the acronym FEAR. It's false evidence appearing real. So fear is, it is a construct of our mind. It is not even real. It's what we are perceiving as something that's to be fearful of, when in fact, there's nothing to be afraid of. So I would say when you're finding yourself in a paradigm that you identify, in your heart, you're just afraid to make a change, or afraid to do something because you don't want to get it wrong, or what if you make the wrong decision, or what if you make the wrong choice? You know what? You have to get out of that stuck fear mode, or nothing will change. And you can always look at things like it was meant to work out a certain way based on the decisions that you made. And until you step out of that circle of fear and try something differently, you're going to keep getting the same results,
Yes.
And you have to have an element of trust. And that is also connected to trusting yourself, trusting your intuition. Because so many times I hear people say, either in a consultation or, a Facebook group or whatever, it's like, oh, I just knew, something inside me just knew that didn't sound right. And I didn't want to have to do XYZ to my cat or whatever. And I knew I shouldn't have done it, but I did it because I was afraid. And now I'm really sorry that I did that, because look what happened to them. And, they went against their intuition, because their intuition was screaming at them inside going, don't do it. Don't do it. That's not good. don't put that medication on them, or don't get that vaccine, or don't, your cat is really sick, they don't need a vaccine, or whatever the case might be. We have to learn to trust that inner voice, because it is going to guide you into the direction. That is your higher self. That is your connection to God. That is your connection to source. You have got to learn to trust that, because that energy, that connection only wants your highest and best good always. And so many times we end up settling for second best, third best, fourth best, because we're not willing to trust what we're getting, and we're stuck in fear. So I would just say, start learning to listen to your intuition. Don't push it away, don't ignore it. Step back and just take some time to really feel into it, meditate on it, pray, whatever it is that you need to do until you feel comfortable following that inner voice, or that knowing, or that guidance that you're getting to do something or to not do something, because it can save so much heartache, heartbreak, money, time, whatever the situation, you know what I mean? It's just, we have to learn to trust that, because
Right.
that's a gift. That is one of our higher faculties that we do not use to its fullest degree. And some people don't use it at all. And you wonder why they make so many mistakes in life, because they're not tuned in, you know?
Yeah, and Pam, can they use muscle testing too? Like ask a yes no like I have a pendulum because I'm just better with pendulum.
Yeah, people can use, if you're trained in muscle testing, or if you're trained in dowsing or pendulum use, you can always do that too. You can ask your yes or no questions, and get some guidance like that as well. Um, what else? Oh, I was going to share that I have learned to trust those little nudges. I call them little nudges. Like, if something, just, I'll give you an example. Um, a couple years ago, before, it was probably, I don't know, before Christmas, I don't know, 2 weeks before Christmas maybe, and I was hosting, and I had moved, and I had no living room furniture. Where am I going to put everybody? I had this old ratty couch that I really wanted to get rid of, but it only sat 3 people. And then one day I was sitting here working, and then I just had this I call them downloads, just this little nudge, like, you need to go furniture shopping. You need to go furniture shopping. Like, now, you need to go furniture shopping. So I got online. I'm like, okay, furniture stores near me. And I started looking. I was like, oh, there's a place just, 2 exits down. And I knew the shopping center or whatever. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go. I just put everything on hold, and I just went. And would you know, the manager of the store, it was his last day because he was changing locations or changing jobs somehow. And he offered me 30% off anything I bought that day, with delivery and everything. And so I didn't even know that until I was walking around through the store, and I was like, oh, that's nice. I like this one. And then I found one I really, really like, this little set that I really, really liked. And I'm like, okay. And I looked at the price, and I think it was, I don't even know what the price was. That's not my point. But I can't remember if there was like an on sale item or not on sale item. But the guy came over and he said, well, you like this? I'm like, yeah, I want this. And I was willing to pay whatever because I wanted it, right? He didn't even tell me before he walked up, like, oh, by the way, made you a better deal. So when he starts talking with me, and he says, well, today's your lucky day. And I'm like, oh yeah, why? If I had not listened and got up and gone shopping when I was told to go shopping to the place that I found to go shopping, if I had gone the next day, he would have been gone, and I wouldn't have gotten a 30% discount that I wasn't expecting. So that's just a little example. Those kinds of things happen to me quite frequently. So now when I get the little hint, like, you know what? You need to go online and you need to order that thing now. No,
Mhm.
or you need to go ahead and get this done, whatever. I'm like, okay, I need to do that. And I will stop and I will make sure that I get it done because I have just learned that there's always it's a positive thing if I can pay attention, and it's always going to work out for my highest good if I do that. So I share that because I want you guys to learn to trust yourself. Don't get stuck in fear and really start tapping into your intuition. So that's one of my suggestions.
I love that. That is so cool.
That's cool. And I had
And
Christmas, and I had my furniture. Like it came on the 22nd.
oh my god.
It was here before Christmas, and I got rid of my old couch and everything. They took it away. Like, oh yeah, we can haul your old one away. I'm like, oh, thank you God, because I didn't know what to do with it.
It was like divinely
It was
orchestrated.
totally divinely orchestrated. I could not have done that myself. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yes.
like, we just have to trust. Like,
Yes.
get stuff like that.
Also,
Yes.
yeah, so not only trust your intuition, but my belief is everything is intentional. So even like a car accident is not an
Mhm.
accident. I actually know how to interpret accidents now. But also, I was gonna, my bunny rabbit, I freaked out because he stopped eating, pooping. He didn't do anything for like 12 hours. And the vet told me to get him to the ER like ASAP. And I'm like, oh my God, like he can die like any minute now. And I'm like, oh
Mhm.
my God. But I was doing energy healing. And anyway, so I packed up all of his stuff. This was probably at like, midnight.
Mhm.
And I had to cross a bridge to get to the ER, the hospital that I take him to. Or I've only been there once, but whatever. And I got everything ready, and then I looked out my window and I can see the traffic onto the bridge. It was stopped bumper to bumper. No, this is at midnight. There was all kinds of traffic and no one was moving. It was just like a parking lot. I'm like,
Right.
oh my God, I can't even get on the bridge. And if I get on the bridge, I'm just going to sit there. So it was basically divine intervention.
Yeah.
And they were telling me, you can heal him yourself. I do energy healing, so like you can heal him yourself. Do not take him on the bridge because number one, it was raining,
Mhm.
and my car doesn't have a heater. And the vet said if my bunny's temperature falls below a certain level, he can die. And I couldn't do energy healing and drive at the same time
Right.
and bundle him up and drive and everything. And so anyway, so I stayed here, I stayed home, and I just did energy healing for him. I think it was for like several hours. And finally he pooped and peed and ate and was like back to normal. And I'm like, oh my God. But so not only listen to your intuition, but if something happens, it
Mhm.
might be happening for a reason.
Yeah.
So if it's stopping you from doing something,
Yeah. There's a
maybe,
reason.
yeah, right?
Trust it. Yes. Yes. I like how you
Um,
called it divine intervention because I believe that.
Yes, and I remember this one time I was walking, broad daylight, noon, it's lunchtime. I was walking to a meeting. I was carrying all kinds of stuff in my hands. And this is the one time I felt like I heard a voice, but I heard, hold on to your phone.
Mm.
And I thought that was interesting. So I did. I'm like, okay. So I held it really tight. And 3 seconds later, this man comes running behind me, tries to grab my iPhone out of my hand, but I was holding it tightly because I heard that voice, and he couldn't get it. So all he could get were my earphones, and then he threw them on the ground and walked across the street and disappeared. And I'm like, that is crazy. And I know other people probably have these, you
Well,
know,
yes, and I had a similar thing happen to me it was this summer when my aunt and uncle were here and we were walking around through the town square here in Georgetown, and we were walking toward this particular shop out in this they had blocked off the street so people were walking through the streets and everything, but some in a typical day you'd be able to drive on the streets, and you know how the parking spaces have those little those concrete little they're not bumpers, but they're concrete little things that
Yeah.
where you drive up and you park, whatever.
Yeah.
I heard a voice tell me as we were walking, because there were several of those concrete things at the end of the parking, thing. And I heard the voice say, "Watch your step." And it was within a second. I was immediately going, okay, I'm watching my step because I'm watching where I'm going. My aunt tripped over one of those and landed on her forehead. Yes. And before I could even say it to her, watch your step, she was tripping over it.
Oh my God.
But I heard it before it happened. So it was like, like you, pay attention, watch where you're going.
Yes.
Yeah, it happens just like that. So you got to listen.
Yes.
Don't doubt. It's
Yes. And
crazy.
this kind of goes back to how you're talking about fear,
Mhm.
but I just want everyone to know we all have spirit guides, we all have guardian angels, we all have. I even took a class, and you did too. I
Mhm.
think way before I did, about spirit guides and stuff. And we all have a team, our own team of guides. So
Yes.
we don't even have to share those ones with other people. But they're there, they're trying to help us, they're trying to protect us, they're trying to keep us safe. And so um, if I'm ever fearful, I feel like I'm fearless these days, but if I ever feel any doubt or something, I just remind myself that I have this team and they're always with you. They're always, because that's their job. The
Mhm.
whole job is to help you and to help guide you.
Yeah.
And you can always call on, that was actually on my list of things to mention today. We can invoke them, we can talk to them, we can ask for help because they, because we have free will, they sometimes can't help us unless we ask.
Mhm.
And so anything that you want help with, just say it out loud, call them in. I always say, spirit guides and guardian angels of the highest power who serve God or who serve the highest prime creator, please help me, blah, blah, blah. And
Yes.
so I make it very easy for them. I say, can you please help me, whatever.
Blank. Yes.
But just put it out there.
Mhm. And I
And
don't do that often enough. And I was reminded the other day to do that when I was doing a meditation on 1111 for the energy portal. That was one of the things that Rocket, my cat and spirit, wanted to come through and share with
oh,
me. Because you need to call upon your guides more. We're here. And I'm like, and it's so funny because just that afternoon, I had been working on something and I didn't. And it's interesting because after the fact, I thought to myself, man, I should have called upon my guides to help me with that because that would have been so much easier, having their assistance. And then he tells me that night, don't forget to call on your guides. And I'm like, okay,
oh,
okay, okay.
yeah.
I was like,
Oh,
hammer, don't forget. So, yeah,
yeah, that's
it's so funny.
cute.
It's so funny.
And the archangels,
And the archangels,
they're
yes,
there to help too.
yes, absolutely. So some of the other the tips that I had put together was just to remind everyone, be open-minded and be open to change because we get in our own way because we're stubborn and we don't want to change. But until we are willing to be open minded and learn maybe how to do things differently, how to do things better, you don't know what you don't know. So be open to learning and then be open to implementing the new things that you're learning so that you can do better. Um, and then the other thing, we talked briefly about affirmations. Just, if you're one of those people that can just write out and make a list of affirmations that you can put on your bathroom mirror, put on your refrigerator, put them, next to your computer, put them where you're going to see them every day. And as you're brushing your teeth, you can just read them.
Mhm.
They're always going to be in a visual space so that you are constantly reminded of all of those great things.
Yes.
Programming your mind subconsciously to train yourself how to think differently, to be in a more positive space, right?
Yes, and I like to have it on my phone too, like all the affirmations.
Good idea.
So wherever I am, in fact, I used to read them on my walk to work every
Nice.
morning. So I had a 10-minute walk and I would just pull out my phone with my affirmations and say them to myself as I went along. But it does help, like you said, reprogram your brain, especially people who didn't have parents who said nice things to you.
Yes.
So
Yes.
a lot of
Absolutely.
my clients have a negative loop playing in their heads from their childhood.
Mhm.
So just reverse that.
Yes, exactly. Um, One of the other things that we thought of was just, you guys, whenever you're feeling overwhelmed, you're in the way of moving into a different place. Drop into your heart space. Sit down in a quiet place if you can. Put your hands in your lap, or just put your hands on your heart. That's actually even better. Put your hands on your heart and just close your eyes and just ground yourself and take nice, slow, deep breaths and slow the heart rate down until you are in a calm state of mind. Because you're never going to be able to make any kinds of big decisions and change a paradigm, get out of your way, if you are all in your head all the time and you are in an overwhelmed place mentally. You're not going to do it. So teach yourself how to drop into your heart space, connect with your breath, and breathe and calm your mind. Because you are not going to get clarity if your mind is all full of confusion and noise. We have to connect within, and we have to get quiet. Um,
Yes, and I think it's hard for people to meditate. I know when I first started to meditate because I always had to have the TV on or music playing or something, I think, to distract my brain so that I wasn't left with my own thoughts
yeah.
or something. And I know one of my current clients, she has the same problem. But I think even guided meditations are a good start.
Yes.
And I still listen to guided meditations, but so you don't have to necessarily not think of anything,
Right.
but just choose any type of meditation that resonates with you, that or you like the music or you like the sound of the raindrops or
Mhm.
whatever,
Yeah.
or the person's voice or what they're saying when they're guiding you. Like
Yeah.
maybe it's like a visualization or something, but any type of meditating, even if it's just 5 minutes a day,
Mhm.
ideally maybe like an hour, but start with 5, 10 minutes
Yeah.
and just don't overwhelm yourself,
Mhm.
but it just helps. And even if I tell my clients, meditating doesn't make me feel any different right after I'm done. I know some people say they feel more calm and relaxed and not stressed out and blah, blah. For me, I feel exactly the same. It didn't change anything, but what I noticed is the more if I meditated every day, eventually things in my life became easier and hurdles got
Mhm.
removed from my path and life just was easier. And that caused less stress and anxiety. But don't have the this is like probably a paradigm out there, because people think, oh, I'm going to feel more relaxed right after I meditate. And that most people don't.
Right.
So get that out of your head and don't, because I used to think I'm doing this wrong because I'm still stressed out. But just change your expectations and know you might feel exactly the same. But if you keep doing it, it's all about consistency
Mhm.
and doing it regularly. But things will start to shift. You won't know what's happening, but your energy, just by meditating, is shifting your energy,
Mhm.
and that's going to manifest new things down the road because you're changing something.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. I started getting up earlier in the morning, and now I do meditation every morning. before I start my day. And
Oh, wait, sorry, I don't mean
yeah,
to cut you off,
yeah,
but along those lines, the best time to meditate, I've heard, is 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. because our melatonin is highest. And I also think because everyone else is sleeping, so there's not all these distractions or other people's energy flying around or, whatever. But if if you can, or if you're motivated at some point, set your alarm or whatever. My bunny rabbit actually wakes me up at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. every day. And I know that's intentional because I think my higher self and my spirit guides they want me to meditate at that time. So my bunny started doing that. So now whenever he wakes me up, I'll meditate, even if it's just for a little bit, and then go back to bed.
yeah.
But sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. You're good. And when I can, I do it in the evening too. And I've been doing that consistently for probably the last 3 months or so. And I have seen a huge shift. And like you were describing, things just kind of lining up, things getting off the plate that I never, it's like we're not necessarily worries, but just stuff. It's like there's less stuff. I've shifted energy. It's pretty cool. But I will tell you, like some people say, oh, I fall asleep when I meditate. You know what? Sometimes I do too, or I kind of my brain kind of goes off. It's like you can still hear what's going on. You're still subconsciously programming your mind because your mind still hears whatever guided meditation you're listening to or you're thinking about, even if a part of your brain starts to think about something else. So I just tell people, I would say, don't stop because of that. Keep doing it because of that, because it's still going to sink in. It's like some people would play those 8 hours worth of meditation subliminal things at night, or like I even have a friend that used to play the movie The Secret as she was falling asleep. Her brain was still hearing all of that content, and it was settling in and reprogramming her mind for months as
So
she fell asleep.
I do recordings of affirmations. I first did it for myself. So I recorded whatever affirmations I wanted,
Yeah.
and I would play them when I fell asleep. But I would record like an hour's worth or whatever. And then I started doing it for my clients. So
Oh,
whatever
wow.
but it's to help them heal. So whatever their physical issue is or whatever disease they have,
Mhm.
I come up with affirmations that will help reverse that, back pain or the knee or hip pain or whatever it is.
That's so
So they could listen to it. They don't necessarily have to read it and say it, but
yes.
both is good, I
Yeah,
think.
absolutely. Absolutely. The other thing that we came up with, guys, is get out in nature. You know, go connect with nature, go sit in your yard, go take a walk, go to the park, do something that's very grounding, but get outside. We live in our homes so much. It's so refreshing to go out and have fresh air, feel the wind blowing through your hair and on your skin. Go sit in a swing, just get out in nature somehow because it is so refreshing and it can be inspiring and it can just leave you feeling energized, right? Do you have
Yes.
experience? Just
Yeah, I love anything having to do with water too. So the
uh,
ocean or river or lakes or whatever.
fountain. If you have a fountain in your pool or something, just go sit by it in a chair and just close your eyes and just listen to the sound of the waterfall. I mean, it's so calming. And if you have, well, you guys have pets and you're watching this, but our pets love being outside. They love being on the ground. I see my cat sleeping in my garden. Right now there's like very almost nothing in it, so it's all dirt. But they'll go out there and they'll just lay in the dirt in the sun and they're just grounding and they absolutely love it. And it's so awesome because it's so healthy for them.
Yes,
That's
and
awesome.
so that's one of the things I have on my list of things to do to help keep your chakras open and clear.
Oh yeah.
So being in nature, like you said, and around animals, and one of them, what you just said, I don't know why it reminded me of it, but I don't know if anyone did this when they were little, but did you ever roll down a hill, like a grassy hill, like a
Yeah.
log, and you just like
Yeah.
something like that, or and then of course being around water, like dancing. My bunny rabbit dancing is good because it raises your vibrational frequency level, so that'll help. So just get some fun music that gives you energy and dance around with your cat or your fur baby or something, or just let them watch you. But I've also, this is something I recommend, is only listen to songs that have positive lyrics. So I've gotten rid of all those sappy heartbreak songs or whatever, or whatever, because all of our thoughts and words, emotions, like we said before, helps, it all manifests into something in the future. So try, if you can, try not to listen to negative lyrics, because you don't want those going into your head.
Right. And on that note, I also wanted to say, to get out of your own way, sometimes you need to unplug yourself from social media, from the TV, from the radio, or whatever media influences that are around you, pumping in all these fear messages, negativity, divisiveness, anything like that. If you find yourself always feeling frustrated or angry, or you're letting people upset you, that's a sign that you need to cut, just cut it off and unplug, because you're not going to be in a mind frame to make a change out of an old paradigm if those are influencing you.
Yes. And also, I would say distance yourself from negative people,
Yes.
even if you've been friends with them for a long time or family members. It's okay to set boundaries, and some people aren't meant to be in our lives forever.
That's so true.
Because we change, we're all changing at different rates at different times. We're all on our own paths and journeys. So sometimes we kind of have to leave people behind in order for us to progress.
Right.
Because they're just going to weigh you down or bring your energy down and dump all their crap on you and vent and wallow, and misery loves companies.
Yeah, it totally sucks your energy.
Yeah.
Puts you in a bad space.
And it's hard because I think some people feel guilty if they cut people off or distance themselves, but at some point you have to put yourself first.
Yeah.
And put on your own oxygen mask. Otherwise you won't be good to anyone. But really, I think protect your own energy and fill up your own cup and find as much joy as you can in this world, and find new things that bring you joy and incorporate more of those things into your life, because we should be able to take advantage of all the beauty and the amazing things on this planet in this lifetime. And so
absolutely
try to smell the flower, or sniff the roses, or whatever that saying is.
Smell the roses. Smell the roses. Absolutely. I love that. I'm glad you brought that up. And we wanted to also just recommend, there's a book by Bob Proctor that's called Change Your Paradigm, Change Your Life. Highly recommend it. It's awesome. And we're both Joe Dispenza fans. So his book Supernatural was awesome. He's got great meditations on his website, drjoedispenza.com. He's got great videos on YouTube. Interviews, meditations that people have pirated and made their own thing. But, take advantage of that kind of stuff, because it's all there for you to learn and to grow, and to help you change. And as a special thing, just to wrap things up tonight, I'm going to pull a card from an oracle deck. And this is from Love and Above Pet Club. So shout out to Sienna there. And this is a deck called Witch Cat by Nicole Pierre. I don't know if you can see that. Isn't this cute? So, those of us in the woo-woo world, which Deanna and I are from, we don't mind being called witches because we're good witches. No, just kidding. But I wanted to pull a card, and just for all the viewers who are watching the show live or later on, does the message have some kind of does the universe have a message they want to leave us with to inspire us for helping to change paradigms, to encourage us on this journey, on this effort to make changes, to take steps that we need to take, that, you know, and overcome ourselves, so to speak. So I was just gonna, that's my intention as I shuffle these cards and see what we can pull up. So what message does the universe, does God's source energy want to share for us? And okay, so let's see. Okay, it's this little kitty, and it's called Burning Desire. So let's see what it says. Says, okay, meet Flame. She savors her desire. She relishes it. She relishes its flickering intensity, that potent brew of longing and anticipation. Emblazoned with passion, she feels alive. She urges you to release all shame around your desires. Do not try to make them more socially acceptable or spiritually correct. Let them pulse and burn bright within you as they truly are. Feel the thrill of yearning. Burn away caution, fear, hesitation. Feel the exhilaration of getting exactly what you want. Trust that this fire within you will take you exactly where you need to be.
That is so spot on.
I know.
That's
I know.
crazy.
So that's how it always happens when I do these drawings.
That was like exactly what we were just talking about.
Burning desire, guys. Follow that burning desire. And that's how you change a paradigm, right? You get to a point where you're like, this isn't working. I've got to make a change. What is in my heart? What is that burning desire? So tap into that. So
Yes.
fun. It's so fun. Does anybody have any questions before we wrap this up? If so, drop them in the comments. And Deanna, well, we're giving people a chance to do that. Go ahead and tell them what you do. Like, one of the things that we wanted to empower you with is just alternative healing opportunities. And Deanna is a great Reiki master.
Yeah, so I do Reiki, but I kind of mix a bunch of different healing modalities together during my sessions for cats or any animals or even people. But energy healing can do so much. And I don't think enough people know about it. You guys probably do. But if anyone watches this and they are not familiar with energy healing, it just helps, can clear the chakras and the auras and get negative energy that, you know, we store negative emotions and experiences and feelings and events and memories in certain parts of our bodies. And then over time, it builds up and accumulates and comes out in some type of physical pain or a disease or an illness. So, you know, I try to help people reverse all of that, and then mentally and emotionally too, change their paradigm. And but I always recommend that people talk to several different practitioners, you know, Reiki practitioners or masters or any type of energy healing practitioners, because you'll be guided to the right one. And like Pam said, just listen to your intuition and your heart and go with the practitioner who resonates with you, or who, you know, whatever.
Yep.
But energy healing is huge. And then Pam can answer so many questions with the muscle testing and give you all kinds of recommendations, you know, on the holistic side, and things that you can do to help heal your fur baby that are, you know, different from what I do. But any of the alternative medicine, you know, options are great, like acupuncture, sound healing, or sound baths. There's like, well, I guess for animals, massage is good too. And there's some vibrating something around it. It looks like a ring, like a round circle.
Oh, that's the Assisi loop?
I don't know what that is. Is that what it is?
Yeah, it sounds like the Assisi loop. It helps reduce inflammation, but it's all frequency based.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or light therapy, if there's, different types of light therapy and or colors. I know you use colors and
Colors, herbs,
yes,
and then animal communication is big.
huge.
So keep all these ideas on your radar, because you never know when you might need them, and be worth a try for sure.
Yes, and I have had success reversing cancer and getting rid of pancreatitis or liver kidney disease or, all kinds of crazy things that the vets said that they couldn't do anything more,
Yeah.
for their fur baby. And a lot of them have been recommending euthanizing their pets. I don't know why I feel like it's, like I said, I get clients in waves, so maybe that's why, but a lot of them don't want to euthanize their fur babies yet. And so I'm a big advocate of it, though. You don't want your fur babies suffering or in any pain, but
Yeah.
just make sure, if it's not their time, then other things can, like energy healing or any alternative medicine could help reverse it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Um,
Well, this has been so fun. Thank you guys so much. We hope that you are inspired and have learned something about paradigms, and will never think the same about your behaviors and your habitual behaviors again the same. Because when we can look at the habitual behaviors and we realize that it's not serving us, have the courage to change it. And it will be a journey that you will look back and appreciate when you go through that and pass and get through that. So it can certainly be life changing. So we are just so grateful, and we hope, if you have any questions, drop some comments in here and share this with someone that you think might enjoy this or benefit from it as well. And I'm sure we'll come up with another topic to do another series. But until then, we just hope you guys have a great rest of your evening, and we will see you soon. Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you. Bye.
Bye.